there. So moving on to this week's visits, currently on campus, I believe, right at this very time as we're recording on Saturday afternoon, Miami has 2 official visitors and a few of hand-selected unofficial visitors who were unable to make it to Junior Day last week for a variety of reasons. So we'll start with the official visitors first. They're both grad transfers, so these are both guys who would come in with 1 year to play at Miami and could bolster the depth at key positions. So first is Tyshon, a running back from Clemson University, who is going to transfer there, made his intention already known because he did not have the kind of playing time that he would have liked at Clemson. So he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school from Georgia, Elberton, Georgia. And yeah, he didn't play a lot, but he has, good size and good talent. He had 351 yards and 5 touchdowns in 17 career games for Clemson, according to their official athletic side, So Dye would be a guy who could come in and give depth to that running back position. We previewed that previously where there are only going to be 4 scholarship running backs, and that's kind of thin. So you really want that 5th guy in that running back room for this season. And that could be Dye. He's a bigger back, so he could definitely be that inside kind of a guy if you needed it, and take some of the load off of some of these other running backs. So looking forward to a solid season. Obviously he can, continue his academic pursuits, but he's looking at Miami, and the other 2 teams I believe that are interested in him right now are Georgia Southern and SMU. SMU being coached by Chad Morris, who was the offensive coordinator at Clemson when Dye was recruited out of high school. So there's obviously a connection there. But, I mean, I don't want to be elitist, but, like, Miami's recruiting against SMU and Georgia Southern for a guy. I feel good about our chances, So hopefully this official visit weekend goes well, and then he locks it up, decides that he's coming to Miami and gives us a 5th running back for the 2017 season. That would be great. Joining him on an official visit is a cornerback by the name of Dee Delaney. Not a household name, but a very, very good player. He played for 3 years at the Citadel in South Carolina and was a first-team FCS All-American in 2016. Got a mid-round NFL draft grade, and the overwhelming response to his inquiry about the NFL was, if you go to a top-tier team for the 2017 season and you play well, that 4th or 5th round draft grade could go up to a 2nd, 3rd round draft grade. So Delaney is looking at that kind of a thing. The Dye situation, the running back situation first, that's one that's been talked about openly by a lot of media outlets, 24/7 Sports, SI, ESPN. A lot of people have been talking about the Tyshon Dye situation. Not many people have been talking about the Dee Delaney situation, and that's intentional because Miami's trying to play a little bit of, cloak and mirrors or cloak and daggers, espionage kind of stuff where they're moving in silence. But now this finally has come out that, he's visiting and Miami's interested. Miami was interested in Adrian Baker, who is also grad transferring from Clemson. He's originally from South Florida, and then that connection kind of faded away. Because we're looking at Dee Delaney as the #1 guy to bring in at cornerback. So, to bolster the position for this year, to add on to what we got in recruiting, because if you've been following these videos, we missed on a couple recruits at the end of the 2017 cycle. Getting a guy like Dee Delaney would be very, very good. So he's a 6'1", 194 pounds. He had 8 passes broken up, a conference-leading 6 interceptions, and like I said previously, was a first-team FCS All-American in 2016. So he's a guy with skills, and coming in as having a 4th or 5th round NFL draft grade, that's pretty good. But he's looking to do even better. So if he comes here, maybe he can elevate himself like that. And he's being hosted on his official visit by Adrian Colbert, who was at Texas playing safety. He came over here in 2016 and played cornerback. So if there's anybody to talk to him about that, Colbert is that guy. So he say, look, I followed this path. I'm probably, Colbert could get drafted, or he has a better chance to be an undrafted free agent than coming out of Texas, where he really did not play. So hopefully Miami is able to lock down Delaney and Dye both on their official visits, and that would give, again, 2 fifth-year seniors to the 2016-17 season team for the University of Miami.
In addition to what Delaney was able to do in pass defense, 35 total tackles from the corner position and supporting the run to a certain extent. So what you're talking about here is something that we didn't see 10 years ago, even in college football, is that transfers can add to your program and add to your recruiting. And we're talking about, like you just said, a mid-round level draft grade at cornerback and a kid that was a 4-star at running back who didn't gain the starting job at Clemson, but was able to wrestle away carries and gain 350 yards. So we're talking about pretty high caliber athletes here. So these would be 2 great gets.
Yeah, they would be 2 great gets. They would both immediately be able to play Delaney maybe more than Dye, but Dye would be at the running back position, which is a rotational kind of position anyway. So, that would be a good thing, and it would alleviate some of the, the pressure on those other guys who were in the running back room. Likewise for cornerbacks, instead of having 2017 signee Trajan Bandy have to start 100% from right now, you can put Delaney out there, have him start. You have a Malik Young who developed. Maybe you can then move Sheldrick Redwine to safety, where I think he's a little bit better than cornerback. You have some flexibility there, so that would help, with the 2017 season. But moving on to the 2000, some unofficial visitors, some high school recruits who were on campus right now at the University of Miami. Headlining that group is 5-star running back Lorenzo Lingard. He is the highest-rated Miami Hurricanes commitment in this class. Also, another commit, Nesta Silvera. He's a 3-star defensive tackle from American Heritage, a top-tier local program. And then there's a bunch of other guys. You have Tyson Campbell, who's Silvera's teammate at American Heritage, a 4-star defensive back at 6'2", 185 pounds, who can absolutely fly. He's a guy who's on campus. 4-star quarterback Arthur Sikowski from New Jersey just transferred to IMG Academy. He is widely reported to be Miami's #1 target at quarterback. So he's visiting right now. 2 of Sikowski's wide receivers, that's Brian Hightower from IMG Academy and Joshua Moore. Both of them are on campus as well. Hightower is a top-tier Miami target. He's originally from Los Angeles, but has been building a good connection with Ron Dugans, the wide receivers coach. Joshua Moore is from Texas and was just recently offered by Miami, so we'll see what their connection can be with him. Who's a 4-star guy, but he just has not been on our radar before. But, Miami got in late with Jeff Thomas in the 2017 recruiting cycle. So, and that was even later than this. So you can see that, things can progress there. Cleveland Reed is an offensive lineman from Lakeland High School, 4-star guy, thought to be a Florida lean, but he said that all 3 of the big 3 programs in Florida, that being Miami, Florida, and Florida State, are going to get a look from him and his recruiting. Also, Curtis Dunlap, a 3-star, another 4-star offensive lineman from IMG Academy. He's on campus. Will Mallory is a 4-star tight end from Jacksonville Providence High School. He's 6'5", 205 right now, but he'll probably grow into his frame a little bit more. He has a thick lower half, so he can add some size. David Reese is a guy from Palm Beach Central, I want to say, high school, or one of those Palm Beach schools. Excuse me if I got the school wrong, but he plays safety in high school, but he's already 210 pounds at 6'1" or 6'2", so he's probably going to be an outside linebacker. I've seen him a couple years at the Miami Regional for the opening recruiting event by Nike, and he's a player that Miami's looking at. Also, there was another guy from Jacksonville Trinity. There's a safety. What is his name? I cannot remember, and I'm going to look it up right now because I favorited it. Tyreek Johnson, there we go, from Jacksonville Trinity Episcopal School. That's where Kendrick Norton went to high school. That's where 2017 signee Derek Johnson went to high school. I'm messing up names all day today. What's wrong with me? I don't know.
You're still playing basketball. Excited about that win over Duke.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm messing names up, but we have a safety signee who went there in the 2017 class, Kendrick Norton in the 2015 class. So getting Tyreek Johnson on campus is a big thing. He's a 4-star recruit. He's a top-tier recruit at the safety position. So that could be a new movement area in recruiting. So there's a bunch of guys on campus. There's probably even a couple more guys on top of that list who are on campus right now. But today's visits were to the Duke game. First of all, that was the center of their unofficial visit. And they were mostly hand-selected guys. So it's not like last week I put up a list and I chose the top guys, but there were even more. Like the entire Cardinal Gibbons high school team. They brought most of their top players, their juniors and seniors, rising juniors and seniors, 2018, 2019 recruits with them to that event. And I did not necessarily list them because I don't think that most of those guys are going to be on the radar recruiting-wise for Miami. This week, the list that has been put up, well, I put up, and there's if you look on CanesInsight.com, Peter Rees has a list. If you look on 247 Sports, Andrew Ivins for the Miami Hurricanes site has a list. If you look on Cane Sport, the rival site, I'm sure they have a list. If you look on Scout, I'm sure they have a list. So I do aggregate from a bunch of these places. So I'm not saying it's 100% my own knowledge and things, but aggregating the knowledge that's out there, there aren't really other guys, just extraneous people who were invited to this. So this is really hand-selected. If you were not able to be there last week, they were able to bring you in this week. So, yeah, they went to that Duke game where Miami beat Duke, 20-8 on the year, NCAA tournament, here we go. So I'm sure that they had a good time at that event. And, for the basketball recruits, like Lonnie Walker, 5-star basketball signee from Reading, Pennsylvania, he came down to a football game on his official visit. So it's just, kind of in turn, now you're using the basketball team, coached by Jim Larinaga, a top 25 kind of a program. You have senior night as an electric atmosphere. You beat Duke, and you have some football recruits go there. So you see that while, there are things going on in your sport, there's also things going on in the university and other sports where you can interact with and have a good time. So hopefully we see maybe a commit or two come from this week's unofficials. Maybe we don't, but either way, hopefully this visit or these unofficial and official visits have been positive movement for the Miami Hurricanes in recruiting, but really looking to lock down Dee Delaney and Tyshon Dye, and then anything else we can get from the 2018 class. Maybe Arthur Sikowski, who's the #1 quarterback target for the Miami Hurricanes. Maybe a Brian Hightower decides he's going to commit a little earlier than he expected. I would be fine with that. Pat Surtain Jr., 5-star cornerback from American Heritage. He's visiting also a 2020 recruit who's committed to Miami. Avante Williams, that's Lorenzo Lingard's cousin, is also there. So, just a wealth of talent on campus. Really a great event. So hopefully the unofficials and officials go well this weekend.